Hi, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mateo Chavez Lewis. I'm a professional music director and musical theater composer working right now in New York City and off-Broadway. And this is Music Theater Theory. Whoa! There is an age-old mantra in musical theater writing, which is that when the emotion becomes too big to speak, you sing, and when the emotion becomes too big to sing, you dance. It's a very quaint, very nice little mantra. I don't think it's always true, but there is one song in the musical theater canon where it is exactly true, and that is The Music in the Mirror from a chorus line. This is a masterful blend of speech to singing to dancing. We start off with Cassie, who's trying to get a job, talking to Zach, her former lover, and now her director. And while she's speaking to him, there's this very, tender, it says, piano accompaniment, right? And it just kind of repeats like this. It's very soft, it's very repetitive. The harmony is very stagnant, right? We've got the same note up here on top, that B natural, and this F down here. Now that is, if you put those two notes in the same octave, a tritone, which is also sometimes known as the devil's interval. So there's a lot of tension, a lot of dissonance. It's not a lovely, beautiful consonant interval. There's a lot of tension in it, and even though it's spread out across the piano, so it's a little bit easier to listen to, that tension is still present, right? And that is the tension in the dialogue between Cassie and Zach. Then the harmony starts to develop a little bit as the scene progresses, right? It doesn't just stay the exact same the whole time. We get this with that B natural on top, and then it changes to this. So we go from a B natural to an E, then back to a B natural, then to a G. Remember those four notes, B, E, B, G. Cassie and Zach keep talking to each other. They're talking to each other this whole time. There's literally, it looks like 34 bars of them just talking to each other. And then finally, there's a vamp, which means that the orchestra just keeps repeating the same bar of music over and over until the singer's ready to sing. Then finally, when she's ready to sing, she comes in with this melody. Give me somebody to dance for, give me somebody to show. Let me wake up in the morning to find I have somewhere exciting to go. Then there's a big harp arpeggio, and then we're back to speaking. Zach says, so you're going through a slow period, and the conversation keeps going. This single little section of singing is so well woven into the fabric of the scene, partially because it's directly related to what she's singing about, and it feels almost like a continuation of what she was just saying in the dialogue before. But also, remember those notes that were in the underscoring underneath the dialogue. B, E, B, G. When she finally starts to sing, those are the notes she sings. Give me on a B, somebody to dance for, that's an E. Give me back to the B, somebody to show, that's the G. And then it goes on from there. So the feeling that was present in the dialogue is now present in her vocal melody when she starts to sing. When the emotion is too big to speak, you sing it, and she's literally singing the same emotion from when she was speaking when she starts to sing. I think it's so smart. Then she goes back to speaking, right? Zach and Cassie keep having a dialogue, and finally, after another cajillion bars, we have another vamp, and then finally she goes again, to have something that I can believe in, to have someone to be. Use me, choose me. Just kidding, we're back to talking. So she keeps going back and forth between talking and singing, right? It's not a clear, defined border where she stops speaking and then she starts singing. It's like these waves of emotion. The more emotional lines that she wants to say in the dialogue, she starts to sing them, and then she goes back to speaking. And then she starts to sing the next one, and then she goes back to speaking. And finally, she starts to truly sing the song only in bar, where is it? Bar, literally 100 bars into the song, more than 100 bars in. She goes, God, I'm a dancer dances. And after that, we get the proper song, which starts with, give me somebody to dance with. Again on that B, E, and then give me a place to fit in on that B, G. So again, the same melody. And then the beat drops, so to speak. We get a moderate 4 tempo, and it stays consistent the whole way through after that. We get this like, play me the music, give me the chance to come through. All I ever needed was the music and the mirror and the chance to dance for you. Then we change keys. She keeps singing, she keeps singing, she keeps singing. The song keeps building, right? So much more stuff gets added. There's harpsichords, there's trombones, so many things get added in. There's these big harp glissandos. And then she sings this big epic ending. The chance, and the chance, we're in E major now, and the chance to dance, big crescendo, and then she stops singing. The emotion gets too big, and now we're just dancing. And she literally dances, look at this, for so long. And then just like she was going back and forth between speaking and singing, now she's going back and forth between singing and dancing. So she dances for like a whole page of music. She's dancing this whole like, that whole musical thing. Then there's some drums, then it repeats, then we have all of these accents, which make it really fun to dance to because the dancer can hit the accents with their body that are musically present in the score. And this timing is so weird. It's like ba 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 ba, right? It's not just a steady 4 anymore. There's a lot of rhythm in there, which makes it really fun to dance to. And then she comes back to singing. She goes, play me the music, play me the music, play me the music, give me the chance to come through. Then the same thing again. All I ever needed was the music and the mirror and the chance. It's building even more to dance. She holds this note for so long. She holds it 1 bar, 2 bars, 3 bars, 4, 5, 6 bars, basically right to the end of the 6th bar. And then she truly starts to dance, and she is dancing for the whole rest of the song. Look how far she's dancing, right? It's like an enormous dance break. Literally, it's like 200 bars worth of dance break. It's crazy. So I just think it's such a good example of this phenomenon of when the emotion gets too big to speak, you sing, and when the emotion gets too big to sing, you dance. And it's not clear, cut and dry, like hard black lines, you know? There's a lot of back and forth. It starts out just speaking, right, between Cassie and Zach. Then there's these waves of singing that come in, and then they go back to speaking. And then a wave of singing comes in, and then they go back to speaking. Then she's singing pretty consistently. She's singing, and then when it gets too big, she holds the note for 2 bars, which is a long time to hold the note already, and then she dances for a little bit. And then she goes back to singing for a bit. She holds the note even longer, and the wave is even bigger, and then she goes to dancing, and then she's just dancing the rest of the time because the emotion is too big. I think this number represents this idea perfectly. I don't necessarily think that it's always true, though, that singing always is bigger emotion than speaking, and dancing is always bigger emotion than singing. I don't think that it's always linear like that. It makes a lot of sense, right? It does make a lot of sense. You know, singing is heightened verbal expression and speaking is just plain verbal expression, so it makes sense that when you want to express a heightened emotion, you also heighten the expression from speaking to singing. And Dancing is very heightened expression because it's a physical expression. So when you want to express something even more heightened, it makes sense you go to heightened physical expression and not just verbal expression. That all makes a lot of sense, and most of the time, I'm sure it's true. But there are times where the rule breaks. And I'm thinking of another moment in a chorus line, which is Paul's monologue. If you all know a chorus line, you'll know this monologue. It's like a 12-minute monologue near the end, and Paul talks for a really long time about his parents and his relationship with them, and the moment when his parents found out he was doing drag, and it's incredibly emotional. Paul breaks down crying. Zach has to come out from the director's booth down to the stage just to hug Paul and comfort him because Paul is so emotional. That's heightened emotion, right? But Paul's not singing, and Paul's not dancing. Paul is just speaking. It is just a monologue. So it just goes to show that when it comes to writing for musical theater or any art form, there are guidelines, there are things that are often true, but there's never any hard and fast rules. In The Music in the Mirror, singing leads to dancing, just like speaking leads to singing. But in Paul's monologue, just speech alone is enough to carry all of those heightened emotions. So there's never any hard and fast rule, and there's always, some wiggle room. I hope you found this interesting. If you did, subscribe, because I talk about a lot of stuff like this on the channel. Once again, my name is Mateo Chavez Lewis, and this has been Music Theater Theory. Whoa! Peace out, y'all. See you soon.